how did you guys feel doing this activity? Horrible.
Did anyone like it?
Okay. So, when you guys were listening to this music, clearly you guys felt like a lot of different emotions. And we did something yesterday too. Does anyone remember what we did yesterday? But what else did we do at the end of the night? Bhajans. Did you feel anything when you were listening to the bhajans when you guys were dancing? I saw a lot of dancing, so when you guys were doing all that, were you feeling anything? Yes? No? Maybe so? No, you weren't feeling anything? I don't know. I saw a lot of people on the dance floor. It suggests otherwise. That dance floor doesn't look like a dance floor that people weren't feeling anything. That doesn't look that good. I'm just saying. So what you will be doing today is devotional singing. And part of what you guys felt is this thing called bhavam, which is emotion. Has anyone heard of the word bhakti? Yes? Any guesses? There's no right or wrong answers. Anyone?
Is it like devotion?
Yeah. So, bhakti is devotion, and bhavam is emotion. So bhakti is devotion towards God, and like bhavam is that emotion feeling, like whatever you're feeling when you're either listening to music or you're singing to music, that right there is bhavam. Okay, so remember the difference between bhakti and bhavam, because it might come up later during the week. I don't know. Just put a pin in that. Okay, so right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna break off into our two different groups. Okay, so which akka is gonna? Okay, so Sashu akka is gonna go around and give you a number. If you are number 1, if you are number 1, go by Vidarananna. Okay, and then if you are number 2, go to Prashantini akka. Vidarananna and Prashantini akka, can you raise your hands, please? Thank you. So if you're in 1, Vidarananna, and if you're 2, Prashantini akka. 1, Vidarananna, 2, Prashantini akka. Ones is by Vidarananna right here. If you are 1, Vidarananna, no switching your groups. If I see more people in a certain group than the other, we're going to have a little problem. And you see an even amount. Shama, what group are you in? Okay, Vidarananna. Where's Sashu? Okay. Sashu, you're number 1, and then we're number 2. I'm going with Prashantini. Okay, yeah. Okay. Wait. Okay, so group 1. Oh wait, oh yeah, group 1, get your mullers first. Group 1. Group 2, you can wait a bit. Well, eventually, but not now. Eventually, but not right now. You know, we need a little practice. Okay, group 1, if you get your mullers, follow Sashu akka. She's going outside. Group 1 with Sashu akka for devotional singing. Okay, now group 2, you can get your mullers. You Muller, you get a Muller, you all get a Muller. Sorry. Okay. And if you get your Muller, please sit in a circle. I don't want to see clumps. When I say circle, I mean a circle. Me, maybe facing Prashantanyaka. Well, not everyone facing Prashantanyaka because we don't want to. But make a circle. I will start singing the Make a Circle song. I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. Make a circle, big and round, big and round. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. Something, 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 something. Just make a circle. I see a clump. This is not a circle to me. I see a clump here. Come on. Come on. Mix up, mix up. Make it a bit bigger so us akkas and annas can join in. Okay. Amrita. Move back a bit, please. It's okay. You're good. Why is there a huge gap over there? Prashantanyaka sitting down. Does everyone, you know Prashantanyaka doesn't bite, right? I know she kind of looks like it, but she doesn't bite. So you can go closer. You can move out. Okay. So, for today's class, we'll be learning something. So someone said this word earlier. We did a whole activity inside the cabin last night relating to it. Had music involved. Not icebreakers. Don't want to get that confused. What did we do yesterday? Bhajans, yeah. And so in this temple, do you know something that this temple does that not a lot of other temples do? There's this type of bhajan we do. Does anyone know what it is? So it's called mantra bhajans. So at this temple, we infuse mantras. Does anyone know what a mantra is? Yes? No? So like mantras are like slokams. You'll hear us chanting stuff. Your next class, you might be saying some mantras. Who knows? But in this temple, we infuse mantras and bhajans together. And you know that feeling you guys got? Hopefully, it looked like you guys got it yesterday, so you can't lie to me. That feeling you guys got yesterday when you were listening to the bhajans. So like that is kind of the whole point of infusing the mantras and the bhajans and creating mantra bhajans that we do at this temple. So we're going to be learning one of them. So I'm going to give the mic over to Prashantanyaka, who'll be teaching you a bhajan.
Okay. So how many of you guys know who Rama is? Okay, so for those who don't know, can someone probably give like a, can someone explain who Rama is? Or, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, how many of you know who Hanuman is? Okay, good. So Hanuman is known as the biggest devotee of Rama. He had so much love for Rama that he basically dedicated his whole life for Rama. And they say that whenever Hanuman hears anyone singing the name of Rama, he would like drop everything and come to listen to whoever is singing or chanting Rama's name. So today, we're going to sing a bhajan called Rama Lakshmana Janaki. I'm going to go over the words and you guys could repeat after me, okay? Rama, Lakshmana, Janaki, Jai Bolo, Hanuman ki. It's on page 53 on your mullers. Okay, repeat after me. I want you guys all to be loud, okay? Rama Lakshmana Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanumanaki. Anjani Putra, Balabhima, Anjaneya, Balabhima. Balabhim, Vayu Kumara Balabhima, Vanara Veera Balabhima, and then Karti Purisha, Sai Rama, Pavana Purusha, Sai Rama. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the tune. If you guys could repeat twice after I sing it. Rama Lakshmana Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Okay, so the whole line goes Rama Lakshmana Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Anjani Putra Balabhima, Anjani Putra Balabhima, Anjaneya Balabhima, Anjani Putra Balabhima, Anjaneya Balabhima. Balabhim, 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 Balabhima. Balabhim, 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 Balabhima. Balabhim, 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 Balabhima. Vayu Kumara Balabhima. So each line twice. Vanara Veera Balabhima, Vayu Kumara Balabhima, Vanara Veera Balabhima. Balabhim, Balabhima, Balabhim, 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 Balabhima. Karti Purisha Sai Rama, Pavana Purusha Sai Rama, Karti Purisha Sai Rama, Pavana Purusha Sai Rama. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Rama. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Okay, how are we feeling? Do you guys think you could lead it on your own, or do you want to go over it once more? Once more? Okay, I'll sing and then you repeat after me, okay? Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki Anjani Patra Bal Bhima Anjaneya Bal Bhima Balabim, 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 balabima. Vaikukumara balabima, Vainaravira balabima. Balabim, 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 balabima. Paiti Purusha Sai Rama, Pavana Purusha Sai Rama. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Rama. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Rama. Okay, let's sing it together. And I want you all to clap too, okay? And sing loud. Ready? Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki Anjani Patra Bal Bhima Anjaneya Bal Bhima Anjani Patra Bal Bhima Anjaneya Bal Bhima Balabim 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 Balabima Balabim 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 Balabima Vaikukumara Balabima Vainaravira Balabima Vaikukumara Balabima Vainaravira Balabima Balabim 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 Balabima Balabim 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 Paiti Purusha Sai Rama Pavana Purusha Sai Rama Paiti Purusha Sai Rama Pavana Purusha Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki Anjani Patra Bal Bhima Anjaneya Bal Bhima Anjani Patra Bal Bhima Anjaneya Bal Bhima Balabim 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 Balabima Balabim 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 Vaikukumara Bal Bhima Vainaravira Bal Bhima Vaikukumara Bal Bhima Vainaravira Bal Bhima Balabim 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 Balabima Balabim 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 Balabima Paiti Purusha Sai Rama Pavana Purusha Sai Rama Paiti Purusha Sai Rama Pavana Purusha Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama Ram Lakshmana Janaki Good job, guys. You guys sang so well. Okay, actually, I'm not gonna sing, but I'm gonna split you guys into the middle. So this half, I want you guys to lead it, and then this half repeat after this. Is anyone comfortable using the mic? Okay. Okay, you guys could start. You want to chant?
हम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण की जय बोलो हनुमान की राम पुत्र बल भीमा आंजनेय बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा वायुकुमार बल भीमा वानर वीर बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा पार्थिपुरीचा साई रामा पावन पुरुषा साई रामा पावन पुरुषा साई रामा साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई रामा राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई रामा राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की अंजनी पुत्र बल भीमा आंजनेय बल भीमा अंजनी पुत्र बल भीमा आंजनेय बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा वायुकुमार बल भीमा वानर वीर बल भीमा कुमार बल भीमा वानर वीर बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीम बल भीमा पार्थिपुरीचा साई रामा पावन पुरुषा साई रामा साई रामा पावन पुरुषा साई रामा साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम साई रामा साई राम 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 साई जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की
That was honestly fantastic. I started dancing, like I got so excited. Okay, so now we'll be learning. Okay, it's the speakers. Okay, so we're gonna be learning another fun part of a bhajan. So, has anyone heard of the bhajan called Be Mahamaruti? Okay, I'm gonna say it's a really fun bhajan. So we're gonna learn. So repeat after me, okay? Be Mahamaruti. Be Mahamaruti. Bala. Be Mahamaruti. Be Mahamaruti. Bala Be Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi, Madila, Baya, Harila. Baba Jaladi Madila, Baya Harila. Baba Jaladi Madila, Baya Harila. Baba Jaladi Madila, Baya Harila. Harila. Is everyone okay with that? You guys, who said, I heard someone say no. You guys are good? Not? What's the question? It's going too fast? Okay, we're gonna slow it down, okay? Because I feel like I know what part you want to slow down. Okay. Baba Jalidi, Madila, Baya, Harila. Baba Jalidi, Madila Baya, Harila. Baba Jalidi, Madila, Baya Harila. Baba Jalidi Madila, Baya Harila. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila. Is it getting tongue twistery, or are you guys good? Is it hard, or are you guys, you're good? Okay. Okay. Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti is how it goes, by the way, just so you guys can hear it. Okay. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila. Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Is that tricky? Or how do you guys feel about that? It's tricky? Should we go over it one more time? Okay? Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. I hear something. Does anyone have, we can go slower if you guys want. So, should I go slower, or are we good? We're all good? I need to see thumbs up from everyone to feel good about this. Yes, 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 okay. Okay. Bhimaha Maruti. That's a tune. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Bhimaha Maruti. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. I hear some confusion over there, so I'm going to slow it down, okay? Okay. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Bhimaha Maruti. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Just do E. Okay. Bhimaha Maruti. Bala Bhimaha Maruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Balabi Mahamaruti. Balabi Mahamaruti. I'm trying to think of a flatter way to say it. Prashantini, can you think of anything? Okay, we'll keep it plain. Balabi Mahamaruti. Okay? Just see. Okay. Pranavanana, can we do the thing? Okay, so for Be Mahamaruti, so when you say Be Mahamaruti, there's like a little instrumental thing going on, and then you continue. It's like Be Mahamaruti, Be Mahamaruti, okay? Yes, please let me know. Yeah, okay. If it's fast, just be like, Anjanaka, it's too fast for me. Please, like, relax, and I'll relax. Okay? Baba Jaliti Madila Paya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Okay. Baba Jaliti Madila Paya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Are we good? I need thumbs up from everyone to know that we're good. I need confident thumbs up. Okay, you have a question, Amrita, or are you thumbs up? You thumbs up? Okay. Should we do it with the instruments? Yes? Is Pranavananda ready? Okay, let's go. Okay. Be Mahamaruti. We're going to do it with the instruments, okay? So you can sing with me, okay? Yeah? Okay. Be Mahamaruti. Okay. So let me clarify. So when we say Be Mahamaruti, we're going to say it once together, and then Pranavananda is going to do like a little thing, and then we're going to start singing, okay? Be Mahamaruti. Okay. Be Mahamaruti. Balabi. Sorry, I messed up. That was on me. Okay, okay, we're gonna say it together. 3, 2, 1. Be Mahamaruti. Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harida Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jalidi Madila Baya Harida Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Balabi Mahamaruti. Was that fun? Do you guys get it? Yeah? Okay. So, what time is it now? Okay, how about we go over this one more time, and then let's go back to the bhajan we learned earlier. I hope you guys remember that one. Okay. So we're gonna go 3. You guys have to sing with me, okay? 3, 2, 1. Be Mahamaruti. Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Baba Jaladi Madila Baya Harila Sakala Balabi Mahamaruti. Balabi Okay, now we're gonna go back to the first bhajan we learned. Okay? Does anyone want to take the mic from me? You want to take the mic? Let's go, Isha. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Janaki
Yeah,
Jai
yeah,
Bolo
yeah.
Hanuman ki Rama Lakshmana Janaki Jai
Yeah,
Bolo
yeah,
Hanuman
yeah, yeah.
Balabhima Anjaneya Balabhima Putra Balabhima Anjaneya Balabhima Balabhim 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 Balabhima Vanaravira Balabhima Kumara Balabhima Vanaravira Balabhima Balabhim 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 Purisha Sai Rama Pavana Purisha Sai Rama Gadi Purisha Sai Rama Pavana Purisha Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Ram Sai Rama
So how are we feeling right now? Out of like a scale of 1 to 10. 10? I hear a 10. 10? 10? Is it 10s across the board? Yes? Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions about anything we've learned so far? Any questions? No? Okay, so I guess we're good. Okay, so today it was great. Today you learned Rama Lakshmana Janaki, and the second thing that we learned was Be Mahamadati. We'll probably like go over it in tomorrow's class. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you guys, okay, so we're gonna start getting ready for our next class. So if you guys want to go to the bathroom, feel free. If you want to stand up and stretch, you don't have to put your mullers away yet, so you can keep that. But yeah, if you need to go to the bathroom, bathrooms are right there. Yeah, oh yeah, make sure you put everything in your bag. Oh yeah, don't put it back. We're going to need it. So keep it with you, but just make sure you put everything in the bag. If we see your mullers outside of the bag, we're going to have a little problem. Just saying. Okay, get your stretches in. If you want water, go get water. You did a lot of singing, so you probably need some water.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I was like trying to slow down, and I'm like, it's kind of hard to like breaking it down. Just like you just need to go over it, and then maybe talk to music. I know it's like I kind of want to teach the rest of them because
All your enthusiasm.
I didn't see the updated table.
Okay, before we transition into puja class, if you need a washroom break, go now. Run. I think you're on second.
You really? Oh, okay. Yeah, chanting. Are you ready?
Yes. You are with?
I'm with Sripada.
Yes.
Wait, are you in our group? I'm in a little group. I'm in his group. Oh, you are? Oh, I wish I was in your group. What? Sripada? Yeah, you can. They will kill me. Because he chants a lot whenever you're. You know the Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu or something?
Okay, guys, right now we are going to go into our next class, which is puja and chanting. So if you need a Okay, so next class, puja and chanting. If you need to use the washroom or a water break, do so now. Forever hold your peace. Are we good? It looks like we're good. So, we will have 6 different groups, which Ilankana will split up into.
Okay, with Sripada Akka, we have Nidhi, Aryan, Akash, Shrikar, Nivesh, Ram, and Vaishnavi. Yes. Aryan, Venk, is that you? That's not, you're with Vishal. Oh, no. No. So with Sripada Akka, we have Nidhi, Aryan, Aga, Shrikar, Nivesh, Ram, and Vaishnavi. And with me, we have Atish, Amrita, Ravi, Kalki, Shama, and Aaron. So please, and with Vishal Anna and Adish Anna, we have Hasanti, Arya, Sai, Maya, Abhinash, and Yash. Please go to Vishal Anna and Adish Anna. Yeah. And with Pranavan Anna, where's Pranavan Anna? There. Tarun, Aksharan, Vidur, Nandini, Lasha, and Akshayan. With Pranavananna. Pranavananna. Prasid Anna. Oh, okay. And Prasid Anna's group over here, we have Arush, Dharani, Srinivas, Sripala, Kabinash, and Hariharan. With Sanjeev Anna, we have over here Jwala, Mayur, Chinmayi, Madhi, Anasuya, Vanita, Isha, Midula, and Sai Arun. And no. Oh, there's 2. Wait, I'm Isha with the E. And like, where did I tell Ishas to go?
You said one Isha go here. I don't know where the other Isha went.
Okay.
With Sanjeev Anna.
Oh, the E. This Isha here.
Yeah. Wait, so where do I go?
You go.
Now look for an I.
Where is she?
Beginner. I don't know where her name is. Isha with an E.
I. You can go to Vishal on this class.
Okay, ready?
And where are my people? Isha with an I is not on the list, but I put her in Adish and Vishal's group.
Sure.
Shika. Maya?
Wagwan. Perfect. Yes. Yep. Hello. Wow.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Okay, good morning. Is everyone here? Okay, do you all know who I am? What is my name? Uncle. Anybody else? Sriji Ayya. So I used to be called Sriji Anna. Some people call me Sriji Uncle. Somebody calls me Periyappa, like Isha here. Some people call me Sriji Tata now. So as you can imagine, I'm just human. I have so many names. God has so many more names, right? Just a human has so many names. God is known as Krishna and Rama and Shiva, worshipped in various forms, but it is always the same God. He's also known as Allah, he's known as Christ, as Buddha, right? So all of these are just one and the same. There is only one God. And that is what, if you see outside your book, your malar, it says, you can't read the script. It is in the Devanagari script. It says sub-ek. What does sub-ek mean? Sub is a Hindi word which means everything, everyone. Ek means one. So sub-ek is everything is one. All is one. So that is what we are going to really learn through the story of the saint for this VSI, which is Neem Karoli Baba. Baba just means a Swamiji or a Sadhu, right? So Babaji, Baba just means that. Neem Karoli is actually a village in India, in the north of India. And he never called himself Neem Karoli Baba. That is not his name. But people call him Neem Karoli Baba. And that is how he became famous. So this is what this is about, right? The next 3 days, we will learn a little bit about Neem Karoli Baba and see how he stood for this sub-ek. So if anybody comes to you and says, you know, Christ is the only true God, what do you say? Sub-ek, right? Or if somebody comes and says, Narayana is greater than Shiva, or we should only worship Devi, sub-ek, right? This is your motto. Something to learn and keep throughout life, not just about different gods, but also different people. All people are one and the same, right? All creation is one and the same. So, Neem Karoli Baba was born around 1900, around the year 1900. Nobody knows exactly when. See, nobody wrote down the stories of these Mahatmas. So a lot of it is guesswork and what we know from, you know, other legends and other people who have met with these people. He was born around 1900 and in a wealthy Brahmin family, and his name was Lakshman. Do you know who Lakshman is? The Ramayana? Yeah. Rama's brother Lakshmana. So very popular name, especially in north of India where there are a lot of Ram devotees. Rama is very popular there. His brother's name is Lakshman, so it's a popular name. So his name was Lakshman Narayan Sharma. That was his full name. And his father's name was Durga Prasad Sharma. And mother's name was Kaushalya Devi. So he was born into this family in a village called Akbarpur. Akbar, do you know who Akbar is? Akbar was one of the great, yes, somebody knows? Please tell me. Yeah. Who was Akbar? Any idea? One of the great emperors in the Mughal dynasty, right? This is very close to New Delhi. If you know where New Delhi is, it's in the Agra region, basically. And there had been a series of Mughal rulers. These are all Muslim rulers, right? And this village where he was born was named after Akbar. So Akbarpur, he was born there. And as a child, he was deeply spiritual. I think if you know the stories of other saints, like Ramana Maharshi or any other saint, you will see that there are some similarities. As a child, they were very interested in going to temples. They were very interested in hanging out with sadhus, right? Does anybody know who a sadhu is? A sadhu is sort of a wandering sannyasi. They just go from place to place, from village to village. So whenever a sadhu came to the village, this little boy, Lakshman, would just love to go and hang out with the sadhu, right? And hang out in the temples. And he would love to just sit down and be quiet. He was very, very serene, very calm. It was very difficult to get him angry or agitated, always very calm. So deeply spiritual as a child. When he was only 8 or 9 years old, his mother passed away. So that had a big impact on him. And then, we are talking about the 1900s, right? So in those days, what used to happen, especially all over India actually, is you got married to somebody when you were still a child. So when he was just 11 years old, he was married. So they got betrothed to a girl from a neighboring village. Her name was Subhashri Ram Beti. That was the name of his wife. He was just 11, okay? So 1 year later, at the age of 12, again, this is all guesswork because nobody knows exactly the dates. He just his father had remarried, so he had a stepmother. She was nice to him. He was married, but he was not at all interested in any of this. So at the age of 12, he ran away from home. And he became a sannyasi. So he took on, he wore a loin cloth. So basically, all his clothes were gone. He's just wearing a loin cloth, carrying a kamandalu, where, it's a small pot you carry water in. And just that, he was just wandering from village to village, right? And we'll tell you the story of what he did as a sannyasi. After about 10 to 12 years of this, his father finally found out where he was and came and begged him to come back. So he actually went back. And then he actually lived a householder life for a few years. He had 3 children. And once they were older, the children were older, he again left home, but this time for good. So it's kind of interesting that he ran away once, came back, and then, he married young and had children. But after that, he renounced the world for good, became a sannyasi. So where did he go when he first left at the age of 12? He wandered around. He wandered around many different villages these states like Uttar Pradesh, these names came after independence, right? So those days, he just wandered around. Villagers reported seeing a small little boy, a sannyasi, wandering around with a very radiant look. His hair had grown long, right? They don't have haircuts, sannyasis. So his hair had grown long. And he's supposed to have gone to Gujarat. Gujarat is a state in the west of India. And there he found a place called Vavania. It's called Vavania or Bhavania, Babania, different pronunciations. And he found a Vaishnav saint. So it's a saint who follows the Vaishnava Sampradayam. And he was given the name Lakshman Das. So from Lakshman, he was born as Lakshman, but instead of Lakshman Narayan Sharma, now he got the name Lakshman Das. So next to where that village, there was a pond, okay, and or a talab. You say in Hindi, you say talab. Talab means a pond, and he used to spend long hours meditating in the pond. So you just get in the pond, just his head is above the water, and he would spend hours and hours meditating just in the pond, immersed in the pond. And he gained the name Talaya Baba. Talaya meaning lake or pond. So the Baba who lives in the pond, that was his nickname. And he established a murti of Hanuman. Wherever he went, you will see Neem Karoli Baba, he established a murti of Hanuman. So he established a murti of Hanuman there. And today that little murti has grown up into Hanuman temple. So if you go and Google the Hanuman temple in Bhavaniya, you will actually find a temple there. So that was his early years as a boy sannyasi, long matted hair. So this is from the time he was 12 until maybe 19 or so. So he spent about 5 or 6 years in Bhavaniya. After that he left Bhavaniya and he reached a village in Uttar Pradesh called Neeb Karobi. So sometimes people call it Neeb Karori, some people call it Neem Karoli, they're all the same. So it's a certain village. When he went there, he was not really planning to stay there. He just rested there for the day. But then, typically when a sadhu, a wandering sadhu comes to a village, all the villagers will come and they will pay their respects, right? They will bring them little offerings of fruit. And then whatever he said, he said this will happen, that will happen, blessed people, everything started coming true. And the villagers, they kind of begged him to stay. Like, please stay in our village. And they built him an underground cave. So it's a cave where he could go and he could just spend all day meditating. He would never come out of the cave, just stay there. And he would come out maybe in the middle of the night or early in the dawn, he would come out. But the rest of the time, he would just spend the whole day meditating in that cave. After some time, that cave had become kind of small, given all the people trying to visit him. So they built another cave for him, about 200 meters from the old cave. There was a Brahmin called Govardhan. And he said, I have some land, you can build this cave. So they built another underground cave. And right above the cave, he was just known as Babaji at that time. So he put, or Maharajji, these are names given to wandering saints. He established a temple of Hanuman right above the cave, right? And a murti of Hanuman. And on the day that the temple was consecrated, he shaved all his long hair and everything. And that's how you get the look that you get now, right? So that is, so he was at this time still called Lakshman Das. And instead of that loin cloth, he started wearing a dhoti, basically. And he was very friendly with the villagers. Villagers always saw him as a close friend, right? He never pretended to be a great person or anything. Very friendly. But he was always doing things they could not explain. So, imagine like he's playing with the village boys and they're playing hide and seek. He could instantly tell where everybody is hiding. Like they could be hiding anywhere. He knew where they were hiding. But nobody, when it was his turn, he would just disappear. Like people had no idea where he was, right? Or they would all climb trees and he will climb one tree. People saw that he climbed this tree, but then he will show up on that tree, right? Somewhere over there. Or they will play a game where they all jump into the pond. He will jump into the pond and not show up for hours. So people don't know where he went, right? So they knew that he had all kinds of, some special powers. And they loved him, like they didn't want him to leave. They begged him to stay on in that village of Neem Karoli. So slowly some of the villagers became very attached to him. One of them, he was a bird catcher. A bird catcher, you know who they are? They set traps for birds. They catch the birds and then they sell them in the market, right? They could be exotic birds like parrots and things like that. His name was Gopal. So Gopal started to serve him. When he is in the cave, he would bring him milk and fruits and things like that. But Maharajji had told him, don't disturb me when I'm meditating, okay? You leave your milk outside the cave, I'll come and get it. One day he forgot, this Gopal forgot the instruction, and he took the milk into the cave. There he saw this Maharajji seated, completely lost. He is in a trance, and his body is covered with snakes. There's snakes all over his body, and he got the fright of his life, right? So he basically dropped the milk and fainted, and then Maharajji had to revive him. And gently he said, this is why I told you don't come into the cave when I'm meditating. But that story spread, right? And all the villagers saw that he is now maybe an incarnation of Hanuman, right? Because they get established a Hanuman Mandir. Hanuman himself is supposed to be an incarnation of Shiva. So they saw that this particular form, right, with the snakes and everything, is like a form like Shiva. So another example was he had not been fed in many days and he was really hungry. So he went to this Hanuman Murti and started shouting at the Murti, saying, "When are you going to feed me? You have not fed me in days." And then it just so happened a bunch of people came bearing a lot of different types of food. So all of these are little stories where everybody became convinced that he was Hanuman himself. One of the most famous incidents that happened at this time was, like at that time, every Ekadashi and Purnima, Maharaj Ji would travel to the Ganges. So the Ganges was not near Neem Karoli. He had to go a little distance to go to the Ganga river to take a bath. So one day he was going with Gopal, the bird catcher, and another Muslim devotee. They were all going. As they were walking, they saw a train coming. The train was headed in their direction. So Maharaj Ji, he didn't say anything, do anything. The train just stopped. And then these folks just got on the train and the train kept moving. So nobody could explain why the train stopped, right? So he had this power of being able to stop trains. Another time he was on a train. He was going to Farrukhabad, and there was a train conductor, right? And he said, no, we don't allow sadhus on the train, so you have to get off. So he forced him to get off the train. So our Maharaj Ji, he sat down on the train station like this, and the train refused to move. They kind of inspected everything. The engine was fine, everything was fine, the wheels were turning, but the train is not moving. So this was going on for 2 hours. They inspected the length of the train. They couldn't find out what was going on. Then somebody said, there was a great saint who you ordered off the train. Maybe that's the problem. So they went to Maharaj Ji was still sitting on the platform and said, "Please come on board the train." And the minute he got on board the train started moving again. So with these incidents, he became very famous, like all over the place, like the stories of these things spread. He is the Babaji who can stop trains, he can control trains. So he got the name Neem Karoli Baba because of the village, Neem Karoli, where he was staying. So that's how Lakshman Das became Neem Karoli Baba. Any questions so far? Ayya, you want to add anything, Ayya? Okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Do you know who a sannyasi is? Is there a mic? Okay. Anyone? Sure, the people who know who a sannyasi is. Okay, we have one hand up there. We'll bring a mic to you. Yeah, why don't you wear that mic? Yeah. Help him.
A great saint or someone who has renounced all worldly attachment or desires.
Yeah. So someone who has renounced all of the. So there are these 4 ashramas in Sanatana Dharma. It's fully off. Okay. So in Sanatana Dharma, everybody's life is supposed to go through these 4 stages, right? So you have Brahmacharya, where you are a student, right? that is the time that you are a child, your main job is to learn, so that is brahmacharya. Then you get to something called grihastha. Grihastha means you are a householder. You get married, you have children, you perform your duties to your family, to the community, to society. So that is called grihastha. And there is a certain dharma, or your what is the conduct that is prescribed during that phase of your life. After grihastha comes, anyone? Yeah. Vanaprastha, very good. So vana means forest, prastha means approaching. So now you have lived your life as a householder, your children are grown up and independent. It's time for you to proceed to the forest. What do they mean by that? Is slowly give up all of your attachments to this worldly life, right? And prepare for a life of, being immersed in spiritual disciplines, right? That is called vanaprastha. And then the fourth stage is sannyasa, where you give up everything, all attachments, renounce everything, and now you are fully immersed in the spiritual path. So in the sannyasa stage, you have no possessions at all. Typically, a great example of that is Mahapariva. They typically wear ochre, the orange robes, the symbol of sannyasa. If they have a yajnopavita, they have had upanayanam, they even throw that away. That has to be discarded as part of sannyasa, because even that represents an attachment. And they carry this danda, like depends on the sannyasa tradition. There are multiple traditions of sannyasa. So depending on that, and they will carry a kamandalu, which you can see there. That is your water pot. So holding this, and they're not supposed to have any fixed location. They just go from place to place to place. So that is what a sannyasa ashrama actually is.
Little bit. In the brahmacharya state, usually the male children are taken to a teacher and left there. So from the neighboring villages, young children as young as 7 or 8 years old, they will come there. And they are now under the teacher's care, living in the teacher's house. Apart from the time that they are being taught something by the teacher, the rest of the time they are working for the teacher or practicing what the teacher taught. Two people will sit in front of each other and one fellow will question, the other fellow will answer, like that. They will practice what the teacher taught. The rest of the time they are working, washing the teacher's clothes, cutting grass for the cows, or getting beaten up by the teacher's wife. For all this, they are fed there. And they don't go home. There's no Thanksgiving, no Canada Day, no Independence Day, no Deepavali, no nothing. They will stay in the teacher's house. Usually that period is about 17 years. Now you can ask what happens to girls. They stay with the parents. And if the parents are educated, maybe the girls will be taught things. Or they will learn from the mother or father, like that. Then when they reach the age of marriage, they are married off and they go off. Now, when you are in the teacher's house, you are completely under the teacher's care. Usually, they will teach the scriptures to you, which are the Vedas, and that time that it takes for you to master average is about 17 to 18 years. And on the day, how will the teacher find out whether the student has gathered something? He will say, okay, today is Lakshan's day. And Lakshan will come and sit, and all the others are watching. The teacher will ask him a question. When they teach, how they teach is, teacher and student will stay face to face. And when the teacher says, let us say, Ganana, he'll touch the student, maybe the ear or some part of the face, And the student will repeat that 2 times. Ganana am, and touch the teacher in the same place. So on and so forth, this will go back and forth. The teacher will touch him in different places. And in the final examination, if he says, okay, today is about Ganapati, and he will say, Ganana am, the student must know exactly where he touched you when he chanted this line. If you miss once, you have failed. And he will say, go back, practice again and come. So sometimes there have been instances where the student has grown old in the teacher's house and died there without ever going out. This is one way they found out who was capable and who was not capable. If the student had a fantastic memory and they practiced this, he would fly through the thing. And the teacher will say, okay, now you can go and teach somewhere else. That's the way it took. That's the route it took. And then sometimes when after he is finished, the teacher will get him married. Or he will tell the parents, get this boy married to somebody, and they will start their own school. Okay? So now we are all under Sri Anna's house. Go ahead.
So this is, you can see, like somebody who is normally following this 4 ashramas, by the time they get to sannyasa, they are maybe in their 50s or 60s, right? It's very unusual when, in the case of Neem Karoli Baba, for instance, at the age of 12, he wanted to leave the world. So that is typically the sign of an evolved soul. They don't have patience for all these 4 stages. They want to get to sannyasa. They are already in that stage. So with Ramana Maharshi, same thing. You saw him run away from home. So with every great sage, you will see this, that they want to get to sannyasa as quickly as possible. So he was Neem Karoli Baba, as he was now known because of the train incidents. He stayed in Neem Karoli village for 18 years. So why did he leave Neem Karoli? There were some incidents where he felt really hurt. Once what happened, a rich man came. See, typically there is, in these villages, right, there is a strong community of Brahmins, right? In those societies, they had all the power. They made all the decisions. So they don't like it when somebody else gets a lot of attention. So Neem Karoli Baba was in the village. All the villagers were respecting him and kind of, not respecting the Brahmins in the community. So once a rich man came, he brought a lot of gold coins and all that and wanted to give it to Neem Karoli Baba. And all the Brahmins came there. They thought Neem Karoli Baba will distribute the wealth to them. But Babaji said, I don't want any of this, please take it back. So they were very upset with him. Another time, some other person came bringing a lot of gifts for Babaji and the Brahmins, and he was not there at the time. He was away having a bath in the Ganges. So they turned this rich man away, saying some, bad things about him, and said, no, please don't bring him any gifts. So he was hurt by all this, and then when he came back to the village, he said, I will take my leave, and the next day he left. So that was the end of his associations with the village of Neem Karoli, but he was forever known as Neem Karoli Baba because of all of the incidents that happened there. So I think somewhere in the middle of this, he was also married, he had children. So I think the main message from him was always that, it doesn't matter if you're married or you are a wandering sannyasi. It is all about attachment. And if you can give up that attachment and love God, it shouldn't matter what stage you are in, whether you're married or not. So this is the transformation of Lakshman Narayan Sharma to Neem Karoli Baba. That was the entire transformation. So from Lakshman Narayan Sharma to Lakshman Das to Maharaj Ji or Neem Karoli Baba. So after leaving Neem Karoli, the village, he again went back to wandering. And by now, the famous image where he is dressed in a blanket. You always think of Neem Karoli Baba, you think of a blanket. I think it's in the back of your t-shirts also, right? So he had this long blanket which he carried wherever he went. And he wandered all over, went all over the Himalayas, places like Brindavan, Banaras or Varanasi. And he never would, announce his presence. He would just show up in some place, do something for somebody there who needed some help, and then disappear. So people just called him Maharajji because they didn't know his name even, right? So he never even had a name. So he just called himself. Somebody asked him who he was. He said, "I am nothing." So Maharajji or Neem Karoli Baba lived this life of just wandering around. There was one incident at this time, sometime in the 1940s. So he is about 40 years old, right? He found his way into a British military cantonment. See, these days, this is 1940, British rule. India is ruled by the British. And there is this military cantonment. What that means is a part of the city is completely controlled by the military. They have their barracks, they do their training there, right? So he wandered into one of those. And there was a Britisher, Colonel J.C. McKenna, right? He completely despised these sadhus. They could never understand why these wandering sannyasis get so much respect, right? Like in this country, usually we respect people who have a lot of wealth. Say, oh, that's a great man, he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire, right? That is the material world. But in India and South Asia in general, somebody who has given up everything is given a lot of respect, right? So it's interesting. But these Britishers couldn't understand that, right? He was like, why are these sannyasis getting so much respect? And so when Neem Karoli Baba wandered in with his blanket, he said, get out of here. Like, we don't want you here. And apparently he even kind of hit him or had his soldiers kind of force him out. But Neem Karoli Baba just smiled, took it all with a smile. And eventually the colonel, something happened inside and he had a complete change of heart. And he said, Babaji, you are welcome to come anytime. Just in an instant, there was a transformation in him. And he gave him some fruits and said, you're welcome to come anytime. And Baba blessed him. At that time, he was a colonel, right? So he blessed him saying, you will become a general, right? So, and it actually happened. So this Colonel McKenna went on to become a general in World War II. And he has often talked about how Babaji's blessings was so instrumental. Not only that, but even saving his life during the war. So this was Colonel McKenna, probably one of the very first Western devotees of Neem Karoli Baba. So any questions from anyone? Do you know anything about what's the question?
I thought a question a lot of kids may have will be, how was he able to stop the train or see where the kids were hiding in the tree or magically jump from a tree to a tree? How was he able to do that?
Does anyone know? So that is called as Siddhi. Siddhi just means a certain power or accomplishment. These come to these Mahatmas, these very saintly people, right? They are not interested in these powers, but these powers come to them automatically. And so with any of these saints, you will see that they had a lot of these powers. Most of them do not like to demonstrate them. I think Ayya has told many stories of, even in our own lineage, say our Paramaguru, Parameshti Guru, like Svaprakashananda. You must have heard the story of the laddus that he materialized. So a lot of these sannyasis and Mahatmas, saints, actually have these powers, which they never want to talk about. They don't want to advertise it, because ultimately it is not about the siddhis. You don't want to become like just Superman, right? You want to really realize who you are. And yeah, so that's what these siddhis are. Yeah. Yeah.
Your story. Something that happened right here in Rochester. 1990, I believe, my guru had come. He was visiting America, so he was in my house. And around that time, there used to be a dental surgeon, a dentist, who was very interested in what we were doing in our house, the pujas, the way people came. And I was in a different house, about 9 to 10 miles from here. It was in a neighborhood that was zoned only for houses. And because the crowds were too much, he offered us a parking lot about 1 mile away from the house. So we used to transport people from there. I think Sriji must have been one of those people who was transported. We would take him there and bring. Around this time, this gentleman wanted to organize a Ganesh homam. And he wanted to do it in a big way, so he sent invitations out. His wife was gone by that time, gone in the sense she had died. Got up at 1 o'clock in the night and cooked for everybody. Large number of invitees, and the Homakundam was dug into the earth. And he flew a priest down from Albany, New York. And he happened to come to my house to give an invitation to me. He came home to invite me. And I introduced him to Guruji. And I said, here is my Guru here. He immediately said, please bring him. So we took him and went. How many of you know Sundarana? Okay. Sundarana and I took him to this place. And the homam began. I was fully crowded. He had erected a marquee outside the tent. And it started raining. It was pouring rain. And Sundara and I were seated like this. Just a few yards away, Guruji was there in an honored seat. He kept looking at the sky and looking at the fire, and looking at the sky and looking at the fire. It was pouring. He was afraid that the water would go into the ground and seep into the Homakundam and douse the fire. Without saying anything, after about 10 minutes, he got up and walked into the house. Once he went in and closed the door behind him, just 1 minute after he went in, like somebody turned the tap off, the rain stopped. 50 yards away, we could see it's pouring. But here in that 50-yard circle, nothing. And he came back, and without looking at the two of us, we were immediately alert something had happened here. He wouldn't look at us. So we started quietly moving from seat to seat, trying to get to him. Every time he saw us moving, he would move. So I told Sundara, we have to take him home anyway. We can ask him in the car. As soon as he got into the car when we were returning, he said, I know, you fellows want to ask me what happened. So I asked, what happened, Guruji? He said, here is somebody who has put his heart and soul preparing for this homam, just for the benefit of the people who are coming there. You don't allow something like that to go waste. So I turned the rain off. And after the homam was over, it poured. It poured like anything for the next hour. Nobody could step out. It was pouring rain. But he had made sure that until the homam was complete. So these are powers that they have. These great people, they will never advertise them, never show that they have this. To anybody who looked at him, they would think he's a nice roly-poly grandfather-like figure. Very humble, but he had a lot of powers. He would never show it. And his guru was even more than that. How many of you heard the Laddu story? When I used to go to my guru's guru lived 15 kilometers away from Guruji's house, Guruji's ashram. And Guruji has 3 daughters, and because I was so close to him when he was in Zambia, he used to say that he has a daughter, he has 3 daughters and a son. And anybody who came to his house or his ashram, he would say, my son is coming from the States. And there would be a crowd of people waiting. That's Guruji's guru. As you can see, he's a sannyasi. He just wears a loincloth round his waist. That's it. So when I went this distance, see, I am walking here, and where the wall there is, he's seated against the wall. The wall ends right there, and there was a little boy next to him. He saw this crowd of people coming, about 50 people with me. I saw him say something to the little fellow. He went behind the wall. We were still walking. Maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, he came out from behind the wall carrying a full tray of laddus. So as everybody went, we all did namaskaram. He gave each one a laddu. And the laddu was hot. You could feel it. It had just come out. And he has no telephone. He's a sannyasi. Nobody told him we were coming. So I smelt a rat. We waited until everybody had left. Then I asked him, what did you do? He said, what? I said, you gave us laddus. He said, yeah. In Andhra, when there's some good occasion, we give people laddus. That is our tradition. I said, I know that. But where did you get it? He knew that I was not going to stop until he told us something, so he went on questioning him. Finally, he said, if you go and say this to anybody, I will say that you are lying. He said, when you bring 50 of my children to come and see me, you expect me to let them go without giving them anything? He told me, if you had kept the laddu for an hour in your hand, or we had gone out of the house, it would have turned into sand. So he converted something that was behind the thing and gave it to us. That's how these people are. They won't advertise it, they won't say anything. But these are called siddhis. And they don't go after them, but the siddhis come after them. Okay? So even in this lifetime, in this day and age, these things happen. How many of you have been to Puttaparthi? Have you seen him manifest vibhuti like that? He will be walking around and he will do this, and the vibhuti comes and falls on your hand and it's hot. So even to this day, these things happen. Okay?
Yeah. So very similar incidents from Neem Karoli Baba's life. Once there was a large outdoor feast. So he loved to feed people. right? Just like in our tradition, we love to feed people. Maharaj Ji also loved to feed people, and they would have these large outdoor feasts called bhandaras. So once there was this large outdoor feast, completely planned, people are coming from everywhere, and the same thing, dark storm clouds gathered, and Maharaj Ji just looked at the sky and muttered something, and all the skies cleared so that the bhandara could continue without any interruption. Another time there was a fire that broke out in a village bazaar, and everybody was screaming that all the shops are going to catch fire. Again, Maharaj Ji, very calm, took a few drops of water from his kamandalu and just sprinkled them in the direction of the fire. The next minute, the entire fire was extinguished. So you could see that they had a lot of power over the physical world. They could stop trains, they could control the weather. All of these are siddhis they had. He could also completely understand and read your mind and what you are thinking, what you're feeling, what you're desiring. So there was no point in trying to hide anything. So once one poor lady had come to him, her son was very, very ill. So she had what is called, they call it a tabiz, like basically it's a amulet. Do you know what an amulet is? It's a something that's on a string that you tie around your neck or your, you could tie it around your arm, and it is meant to protect you. So she brought that with him, and she was secretly hoping that Maharaj Ji will bless the taviz. But she didn't have the courage to ask. All she did, she came, sat in front of him, and without any prompting, Maharaj Ji asked her, "Where is that taviz that you want me to bless?" And then she kind of shyly gave it to him, and he blessed it. She tied it around her child's arm, and by the next day, he was completely cured. So Maharaj Ji, many people have reported this, that completely, could read their minds and their emotions, their desires. Many, many stories like that. Another time there was a child that fell into a cauldron of boiling water, and you can imagine, very serious condition. His skin is peeling, he's screaming in pain, and the parents carried him to Maharaj Ji. Maharaj Ji, as soon as he saw the child, just blessed the child, put his hand on the child's head, and he said, "Don't worry, this child will be fine." So by that evening, all the blisters on the skin started healing, and by the next day, in this case there shows a man, but in the story it says a child, it could be either. The next day, the child was, playing like as though nothing had happened. For all of these things, Maharaj Ji never took any credit. He always would say, "I didn't do anything. It is all God. It is all Ram." There were also many stories of bilocation. Bilocation meaning him being present in two places at the same time. Many stories. Even with Satya Sai Baba, you would have heard such stories. So this is one example where there was a young devotee of Maharaj Ji who was traveling by car, and the car overturned and crashed. So now he is stuck under the wreckage, bleeding, no way to get out, in a very remote area. So then he saw Maharaj Ji, and Maharaj Ji was trying to calm him down and trying to flag down passing cars. Finally, there was a car that stopped, and Maharaj Ji disappeared, but this car stopped, and they got this young man to the hospital. Then when he was fully healed, he came to see Maharaj Ji and fell at his feet and thanked him for saving his life. And Maharaj Ji just smiled and just went on talking. And then the other devotees went to this young man and said, "What are you talking about? He was here in this ashram the whole time. He couldn't possibly have been there." Many such examples of Maharaj Ji being in two places at the same time. So there are many more stories. These are all called Leelas. Leela, the word Leela means to play, right? The word Lalita comes from the word Leela. She likes to play. So, many more examples of these, which we'll talk about tomorrow. So we will break here. There is a gift for Ayya from the children. So
One second before this thing fades from your mind. A sannyasi, when he is given, after he has finished his education and as a family man, then he goes there. When the sannyasam is given, samnyasam, that's what it is called, they take the sacred thread and drop it, and he is given an abhishekam, and a cremation ritual is done. That means this man who was as a householder, now is dead, and a new birth has happened. And when this new birth happens, they give you an ochre robe. And after that, you have no parents, you have no wife, you have no children, you have nobody. You're on your own. Very recently in Kanchipuram, this is the 68th Acharya. Jayendra Saraswati is 69. The 71st Acharya was brought in. And if I had watched, there are YouTube videos, if you watch it, you will see how this thing happens. They do it with great ceremony. But after the sannyasi passes away, he is not cremated, because the cremation has already happened for him. They will bury him. Okay? Remember that. Okay?
All right. So now that this class is over, put your mullers in your bags and then put it in the box. And then put the mats away and please sit down. After you put your mullers away, please put your mats away as well. once you're